Or I'm gonna have to clean this carburetor. I'm gonna change out these fuel lines in the fuel filter too. I already cleaned out the tank. When I pull that hose off, you can see, maybe you can see the end, that gel. That's not good, so that's all got to be cleaned out. See, it's got some varnish in there. It's got full blown gel in there. Just needs cleaned out. I got that carburetor cleaned out and bolting it back on right now. So I got the new fuel line set made up just like the old one, and trying to get it on here. Okay, see, now you got fuel, and when you push up, no fuel. Fuel, no fuel. That's what you want. So that's good to go. I don't know if it'll start.
Yeah, it fired right up. I forgot where my kill wire was. I was looking for my kill wire. Alright, so I'm taking all this apart. These batteries were not good. I tried them. I went through like 6 or 8 of them last season. And I don't know why. They were cheapos from Amazon. They had the digital display and everything. I'm pretty sure they're dead. But let me mark out first what's the ground side of the pack. And that way I don't have to think about it. So the yellow is going to be the ground side of the pack before I take them apart. This makes it easier to hook back up. And then the red is going to be to the 2 wires off the charge side or the positive side. So, and then what I'm going to use is these batteries here, and I think I'm going to situate them up here. So that means I'm going to move my motor controller probably down here where the pack was. But before I pull this pack apart, let me make sure there's no voltage in it still, so I don't get surprised if it arcs out. So it's 24 volt system, because the wheelchair motors are 24 volt off of a Jazzy. Yeah, it's completely dead. I'm not surprised.
Okay, I had to cut the board off. The screws were wedged, or I mean they were froze up. So the board's cut loose and I can move it down here. Now I can relocate my batteries up to the top. Ah, shoot. Well, they do. They just barely fit. I need to make some kind of holder. I don't want them vibrating around. So I guess that's going to be that's going to be the new setup, I guess. I got to wire them batteries in series to get 24 volts and wire them up to the pack. And I'm pretty sure this isolator switch is going to be bad. They go bad. I may have to replace the board. It's been a while since this thing's ran. So let me get started trying to figure out a way to mount them batteries up, because they're just sitting there loose, and get started on the wiring. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going through here and rewiring the whole thing. When I got into it, I found a whole bunch of bad wiring. Part of it is I got to take these things apart here, and what I do is I take the ends off of them, the plastic bit, and then I get the regular connector, because you can't get these at the store where I'm at anymore. And then after I tin the wire with solder, then I just put it on and then crimp it. I don't crimp it very hard, because then I also solder the connection. So I crimp that just to hold it while I solder it. You want to see your solder kind of flow in and get shiny like that. And then after I've got that, then I take the marine heat shrink. It's a lot better material. It has like a gooey sealer inside there too. And then I'll put it on. I'll put it all the way down there, and then just shrink it down. Then that way that whole connection there is isolated from weather. And then this, I don't have my, this is the alternator, and that's the power coming off of it, the charge wire that runs the battery pack, and it runs the I'll tighten that up in a minute. Then this comes over here and goes to the other side of the battery isolator switch, which is going to be mounted up here. And then see these wires are all got to be redone. See how they're exposed? And then also on the other end, those are all my motor drive wires. That'd be motor left positive and negative, motor right positive and negative. So all those need to be redone. I got to get underneath the machine to do that. But I've redone the wires on my feed, and of course those get swapped over here. I've redone the ground and the other ground that went over to the carburetor that you saw when I was doing the carburetor. This wire I'll strip down and make it to connect with one of the gold plated terminal leads to right here. So all right, let me get this finished up. I can't get video of it all because it just gets too complicated, and it's kind of like watching paint dry, so you're not missing anything. I'll catch you later. Good afternoon. I ran out of solder. I tried to get some at the auto parts store. It was wasn't 60/40. So lead was a little less in it. I can't get it to heat in and everything. I get in cold solder joints. So what I'm going to do is I ordered some from Amazon. It's a Radio Shack brand. I hopefully, according to the reviews, it flows in nice and everything. So let me flip this around. I'll show you the quitting point here. But I was really close to being able to fire up the remote and run the wheel motors on the pack. And you know, it's been sitting a long time. I don't know if the blades and all are gonna work and everything. I know the front wheels aren't pivoting correctly because they rusted or something. All right, so let me flip it around and I'll show you what we're quitting with. Hang on. Okay, so this is, you know, type of soldering joint I was getting. It was just, you know, the dull wasn't flowing through. It was rosin core, which is good. 3070. And it ain't worth a dang. It isn't. That was a total waste of money. But anyway, I've got my ground over to the carb power, and then I'm going to have this power coming to this side of the disconnect, the main disconnect. And it's going to be mounted up here. And the only thing I didn't get done, and I just needed a little bit more solder, was these motor control wires for motor B and A. You can see the bare wire. This was not done properly by me at an earlier time, but I can't run it like that. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it right. So without the solder, I can't go forward with it. So that's where I'm gonna have to leave it. And the solder should be in tomorrow, so maybe finish up tomorrow night or the next day. And then I gotta, after I get it running and driving and all, and demonstrate it, then I'm gonna redo this chassis. All this bracketry is gonna go away, and I'm gonna make a custom piece. And instead of making adjustability, which is what I was shooting for with all this contraption, now it's going to be more like a zero turn mower, where it's going to have superstructure that comes up here and then back to the wheel motor and then mounts on the wheel motor, and then there'll be angled chains that raise and lower the whole machine, and it'll affect the adjustability of the cut height with just a single lever, and do away with all this craziness that was a bad idea. The first one I built didn't have adjustability, and actually was a better machine for it because it was a lot more simple. So, but it's an evolutionary thing, you know. And next time I'll go into more detail as to why you want to use this platform. But you may already suspect, when you saw me start it up earlier, obviously with this platform, the blades don't run when the engine's running necessarily. So that is beneficial for a remote control mower setup like this, because you can use the engine
running the alternator for locomotion and drive it around on or off the trailer without the blades actually being engaged. Another feature is you got the side discharge, rear discharge, which in remote control you really end up using rear discharge more than anything, or rear bag, or you can block off with the block off plate and you can mulch. But what I don't think is a good idea with remote control is side discharge, because it's not as safe, because you could hit something a long ways away you don't see in the grass, and then it throws it out into a window, whereas it's not as likely to happen coming out the rear path, because, well, I don't know. All right, I'm going to leave it at there. Have a good day.